phantom killer attacked couples, it was 1946, a time of returning heroes and burgeoning optimism. America was shaking off the dust of World War II, eager to embrace peace and prosperity. But in the twin cities of Texarkana, straddling the border between Texas and Arkansas, a different kind of darkness was brewing. The spring air, usually filled with the scent of honeysuckle and pine, carried a chill of fear as a masked assailant began terrorizing the community, targeting young lovers seeking solace in the secluded backroads. The newspapers called him the Phantom Killer, and his reign of terror would forever scar the idyllic image of post-war America, leaving a stain of unsolved mystery that lingers to this day. The first attack occurred on February 22nd. Jimmy Hollies and Mary Jean Larry were parked on a lover's lane off Richmond Road, a secluded spot known as a destination for young couples seeking privacy. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the darkness, his face concealed by a white cloth mask with eye holes cut out. Armed with a pistol, he dragged the terrified couple from their car. Hollies was brutally beaten, and Larry was sexually assaulted. Miraculously, both survived, though deeply traumatized. They offered the first glimpse into the face of pure, random evil, a figure seemingly without motive, driven only by a sadistic urge to inflict pain and fear. The town, once a haven of southern charm, now felt like a trap. The darkness, concealing unimaginable horrors. The Hollies-Larry attack initially baffled investigators. There was no robbery, no apparent motive beyond the sheer brutality of the assault. Sheriff Presley of Miller County, Arkansas, and Texas Ranger Captain Manuel Lone Wolf Gonzalez, a legendary lawman with a reputation for cracking tough cases, joined forces. But leads were scarce. The victim's description of the attacker was vague, obscured by the trauma and the darkness. Rumors began to spread like wildfire, fueled by fear and speculation. Was it a disgruntled veteran, unable to readjust to civilian life, a local psychopath who had been lurking in the shadows for years? Or something even more sinister, a phantom born of the collective anxieties of a generation? The lack of concrete evidence only amplified the growing sense of dread. Then, on March 24th, less than a month after the first attack, the phantom struck again. This time, the consequences were fatal. Richard Griffin and Polly Ann Moore were found dead in their parked car, just off North Park Road. Griffin had been shot twice in the back of the head, while Moore had been shot once. The scene was gruesome, the air thick with the metallic scent of blood. The killings were a stark escalation, a clear message that the Phantom Killer was not going to stop. The Twin Cities were plunged into a state of near panic. Schools were closed, nightlife vanished, and the streets emptied after dark. People barricaded themselves in their homes, armed and afraid, wondering who would be next. The investigation intensified, with law enforcement pulling out all the stops. Roadblocks were set up, cars were searched, and hundreds of people were questioned. Captain Gonzalez, known for his relentless pursuit of justice, became a constant presence in the community. His stern gaze and unwavering determination offering a glimmer of hope amidst the terror. He publicly vowed to bring the killer to justice. But behind closed doors, he knew the case was proving to be exceptionally difficult. The Phantom left behind virtually no physical evidence, and the lack of reliable witnesses frustrated every attempt to build a solid case. The pressure mounted as the body count rose and the public demanded answers, the next victims were found on April 14th. Paul Martin and Betty Jo Booker were discovered dead in Spring Lake Park. Martin had been shot multiple times, and Booker, a talented saxophone player, had been shot once. The killer seemed to be taunting the authorities, escalating the brutality with each attack. The choice of Spring Lake Park, a popular spot for families and recreation, suggested a deliberate attempt to strike at the heart of the community. The murders sparked outrage and despair, pushing the already frayed nerves of the Texarkana residents to the breaking point. Vigilante groups began to form, further complicating the investigation and adding to the atmosphere of lawlessness. As the investigation dragged on, suspicion fell on a local man named Yowell Swinney. Swinney was a known car thief with a history of petty crimes and a reputation for violence. He became a person of interest based on circumstantial evidence and witness accounts that placed him in the vicinity of the murders. Moreover, his wife, Peggy Swinney, began to tell a different tale. Peggy, initially supportive of her husband, eventually confided in investigators that Yowell had confessed to the murders. Her testimony, though obtained under duress, seemed to offer a breakthrough in the case. The arrest of Yowell Swinney brought a temporary sense of relief to Texarkana. The phantom killer, it seemed, had finally been unmasked. Swinney was charged with capital murder, and the trial began amidst intense media scrutiny. However, the prosecution's case was largely based on Peggy's testimony, which was later recanted. She claimed she had been coerced into making false statements by law enforcement. Without Peggy's confession, the evidence against Swinney was largely circumstantial. In a stunning turn of events, Yowell Swinney was acquitted of the Moonlight murders. The jury, unable to reach a unanimous verdict, declared a mistrial. The lack of concrete evidence and the recantation of Peggy's testimony had fatally undermined the prosecution's case. Swinney, though a prime suspect, walked free, leaving the community reeling in disbelief. The phantom killer remained at large, his identity a mystery, his crimes unpunished. The sense of security that had briefly returned to Texarkana vanished, replaced by a renewed wave of fear and uncertainty. Despite his acquittal, Swinney remained a suspect in the eyes of many. He was eventually convicted of car theft and sentenced to prison, but he was never formally charged with the murders. The case went cold, fading from the headlines as time passed. Yet, the memory of the phantom killer continued to haunt Texarkana, a dark chapter in the city's history that refused to be forgotten. Years later, Peggy Swinney maintained that her husband was indeed the phantom killer, but she refused to testify against him again, fearing for her own safety. The case remained officially unsolved, a stark reminder of the limitations of law enforcement and the enduring power of evil. The phantom killer became a legend, a boogeyman whispered about in hushed tones, a symbol of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most ordinary communities. The Texarkana Moonlight murders had a profound and lasting impact on the Twin Cities. The case shattered the illusion of safety and innocence, leaving a legacy of fear and distrust. The story became ingrained in local folklore, inspiring books, films, and countless nightmares. The legend of the phantom killer served as a cautionary tale, a reminder that evil can strike at any time, in any place. In the decades that followed, numerous theories and suspects emerged, but none could be definitively linked to the murders. Some speculated that the killer was a disgruntled former law enforcement officer, familiar with crime scenes and investigation techniques. Others believed it was a deranged individual driven by sexual perversion and a thirst for violence. The truth, however, remained elusive, shrouded in mystery and speculation. The irony of the Texarkana Moonlight murders lies in the fact that they occurred during a time of supposed peace and prosperity. As America celebrated its victory in World War II, the Phantom Killer was sowing terror in a small town, shattering the dreams and hopes of its residents. The contrast between the national narrative of triumph and the local reality of fear and violence underscores the dark underbelly of the American dream. A reminder that even in the most optimistic of times, evil can still flourish. Today, the Texarkana Moonlight murders remain one of America's most chilling unsolved mysteries. The case serves as a testament to the enduring power of fear and the fragility of innocence. The Phantom Killer may never be identified, but his legacy lives on, a dark stain on the history of Texarkana and a haunting reminder of the evil that can lurk in the shadows.